and pretty simple this. Everyone is going to Saudi. Every time I look at Sky Sports, there's always a huge football name trading their ambition for a big fat bag of cash, and people are losing their brains. So right, let me go through every Premier League club and predict each team's next player is going to move to that league. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Jorginho. I think we can all agree that Jorginho is pretty much done with European football, right? You can almost smell the stale stench of weariness off him slumped on that bench at Arsenal, and with the arrival of a 105 million pound midfielder from West Ham, how fed up do you think he's going to be? 2 years ago, he finished third in the Ballon d'Or, and now, what? He's just going to be some Italian ventriloquist dummy rotting on that bench? I know his old boss Maurizio Sarri, someone who probably has Jorginho posters on his wall. I know he's sniffing around the idea of bringing him to Lazio. I know, that fella is basically the male version of Paddy and Selma, and his lungs probably look like mini venoms. But yeah, he probably dreams of this Italian midfielder all night. But anyway, I reckon give it a year and Jorginho will be out of contract, a complete free agent, and probably he's just sick of wasting his life on the sidelines. I reckon he'll get a £450,000 weekly wage just to go and sign for Al Nassr on a free. Aston Villa, Philippe Coutinho. Well, this is blatantly obvious. Where else is Philippe Coutinho going to go? I think we all know that the Saudi Pro League like to sign footballers who have a monster status in the game. I mean, if you were just to cancel PSG as a club and pretend they don't exist, then this grubby little elf on the Aston Villa bench would still be the most expensive player in the world. After that mega £120 million move from Liverpool to Barcelona, it's funny, about 10 years ago, the big name midfielders used to sit on Aston Villa's bench were just Jermaine Genius and Stephen Ireland. I guarantee you, not a single Saudi soul know who either one is, and one of them did the World Cup draw. They probably just thought he was just some weird work experience child filling in for, I don't know, Luis Figo with the flu. But now, Aston Villa's bench, literally as a fella who was once nominated for the Ballon d'Or, the guy still has 3 years left on his Aston Villa deal. Despite being a pretty ugly rubbish toy who nobody wants anymore, he's just their very own version of a Brazilian Mr. Potato Head. And yeah, I reckon next summer, someone like Al Hilal will offer a cut price 20 million quid, tempt him with wages of £500,000 a week, and I'm sorry, but hands up. Does anyone think Big Phil will turn that down? Nah, he'd be more likely to let a dentist yank out all his teeth and wear them as a necklace on his Hawaii honeymoon. Give it a year and I promise you, Coutinho's wife is going to be getting selfies with camels while he starts trying to make friends with Ruben Neves. Bournemouth Neto. Yeah, Bournemouth don't really have any current players who take much of a Saudi interest. Although having said that, Matt Doherty have recent interest from that country, despite being about as marquee and special as a bowl of honey nut porridge. If I had to pick one, then maybe the goalie Neto, a former Juventus and Barcelona employee, someone who has actually played a net for Brazil. Yeah, I mean, he's got a profile, although I can see why he only goes by one name, because his first name is Norberto. Yeah, I would imagine he was regularly beat up at school. Sounds like the name of some geek who constantly emails the cast of Star Wars and who spies on his grandma in the shower. But yeah, Norberto Neto. Maybe in about 5 or 6 years after he squeezes in another spell at Italy with someone like Fiorentina, then yeah, maybe when he's almost 38, he might get a short-term deal for someone like Al Tawoun. Brentford, Brewster and Bemo. Again, I don't really see anyone in the Brentford camp getting a big money Saudi move anytime soon. I mean, if I had to pick one, maybe Brewster and Bemo. It is a completely random choice, but maybe in about 10 years? I mean, I reckon his next move after Brentford will be back to Ligue 1 to join a team like Monaco. He'll probably be a 12 to 15 goal a season striker in France, then get a move back to the Premier League at 29 to a Premier League team like Ipswich Town, and then yeah, what? 33, maybe a move to Saudi? Although who knows what that league is going to look like in a decade's time. At the rapid pace that league is growing, for all we know, they could literally have aliens in goal and mutant referees who look like deformed teddy bears. Brighton, Danny Welbeck. I think this move happens this summer. Honestly, I know it's all quiet right now, but I reckon this is going to be a very late August transfer. A team in Saudi, like maybe Stevie G's Al Ittifaq, will swoop for Danny Welbeck. I mean, he's a former Manchester United and Arsenal centre forward. The guy has played alongside Gerrard with England at World Cups. I reckon in his blind desperation to get recognisable faces through that door, he'll instruct his bosses to, pay Brighton £10 million for an injury-prone 32-year-old bench warmer with 1 year left in his deal. I mean, there's a man whose body probably breaks down even when pouring a cup of tea. He's someone who probably can't even shop at Asda without slipping on a punctured carton of milk and snapping his hip on the concrete floor. So yeah, being offered triple his money, wages of £160,000 a week. He'll be on the first flight to Saudi so fast, he'll probably be knocking over grannies at Heathrow Airport. Chelsea Hakim Ziyech. Yeah, this is just a race race between Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Hakim Ziyech. Which one can get to Saudi fast? It was supposed to be Hakim Ziyech. There's a man who had an opportunity to join Lionel Messi at PSG in January. Yeah, a Chelsea administrative error ruined that transfer on deadline day. And now a failed medical at Al Nassr has prevented him from becoming mates with Cristiano Ronaldo. That guy must be so furious. He's probably got steam coming out his ears, but apparently it wasn't really a failed medical, because in his desperation not to scare away potential suitors, he's actually posted a photo of his undamaged legs with the caption, "Knee problems, right?" Yeah, don't really know what you're laughing about, Hakim. I mean, you're not showing us a photo of your MRI. This isn't an X-ray scan. This is just your static legs lying on the floor. I mean, Stephen Hawking could post the same selfie and I wouldn't know a difference. For all I know, you could have a snap cruciate. I'm not a doctor, but for all I know, he's got small little goblins living in his skin. But anyway, he's desperate to leave. He'll settle for some form of Saudi move. He'll probably just have to accept less money at Al-Shabaab. Crystal Palace, Jordan Ayew. If there's one man whose career has stayed in a consistently static place for years and years, it's Jordan Ayew in a rut. I sort of commend him though, because for the last 8 years, ever since an £8 million switch to Aston Villa, this bloke has always been a permanent fixture, struggling to score in the bottom half of the Premier League. Whether it's for Villa, Swansea or Crystal Palace, that man has always been down there, going on ridiculous 40-game goal droughts. I mean, it's almost an annual event whenever Ayew scores. Honestly, it's becoming such a rarity. The whole thing is turning into another Christmas Day. So why am I tipping him to go to Saudi? Because it's in his blood. Look at bigger bro Andre Ayew. He's a man who's having a similar career to Jordan in the bottom half of the Premier League. Then he chucks in a mercenary loan deal at Turkey, and then just absolutely unashamedly just chases the cash in Qatar with Al Sadd. You know, this is back before selling your soul was cool. Come on, Jordan will have seen his bigger brother suddenly be able to park 5 Bentleys in his garage. He'll have watched him go from being a bottom half sludge pipe a match of the day to a fella now richer than KSI. Ayew just signed a 1-year deal at Palace. I'm telling you, next summer he's going to be unveiled at Dele Alli with £200,000 a week wages. Yeah, 200k for someone with the goal scoring ability of a shoe. Everton, Dele Alli. I'm not here to slate Dele Alli. Absolutely not. I know he's just done an interview with Gary Neville. I haven't watched it yet. No, but I will, and I do feel bad for Ali. I always just assumed he was just some spoiled, arrogant kid who just wouldn't listen to advice from Jose Mourinho. But I'm gonna watch this interview later, but again, I feel bad for this guy. I think we must have all got Dele wrong, but I still think his next move is going to be to Saudi via Al Ettifaq to play for his childhood hero Stevie G. But in the same way when Jack Wilshere did a sad interview with The Athletic, then he got a job offer from Denmark. And similarly, I do think that now Gerrard is going to see this and reach out. He'll bring him to Saudi. And yeah, maybe he can revitalize his career. Fulham, Alexander Mitrovic. Well, that's pretty simple. Alexander Mitrovic's head has officially been turned. Fulham have rejected a £25 million bid from Al Hilal. But the damage has been done because Mitrovic apparently wants to quit now. There's a club who just poached Sergej Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio. He is a man who's been linked with monster European clubs for the best part of a decade, but never really pushed to move. But suddenly, I mean, offer him £17 million a year, and he ties up the move within 48 hours. And similarly, if Al Hilal want Mitrovic, they will get Mitrovic. And if that deal goes through, and I think it will, I think Marco Silva might have a panic attack in his car. Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk. That Jordan Henderson is not going to Saudi. I know he's not. Yes, he's been offered triple his 200k salary. That is £600,000 a week for Jordan Henderson? What? Doesn't that just scramble your brain into soggy wet egg? But he's still not gonna take this deal. He's not just gonna end a 12-year Liverpool career like this without even a proper goodbye to the fans. He's not suddenly gonna spontaneously quit and leave the nation a month before the season starts, where he's just captained his club to 5th in the league. The time to leave would be after lifting the Europa League trophy in Dublin next May. Not now. No chance. It's like a committed husband of 30 years suddenly dumping his wife by text just to go and run off with some stripper from Ethiopia. But I don't think Virgil van Dijk is going to be here much longer. Lads, the Saudi Pro League is able to pull off shock deals. I mean, I didn't think I would see Karim Benzema turn his back on Real Madrid to join this league. I never envisaged N'Golo Kante. You know, the shy little choir boy who didn't even like money. I never saw him make this move. Even go back a year and I guarantee you nobody would have ever believed that Cristiano Ronaldo would join this division. I mean, he even told the world that he would never copy Xavi and move somewhere like Qatar because he wanted to retire with dignity. He said that to Jonathan Ross. Things change and money talks. And I think Van Dijk is going to be the next monster, world superstar, shock transfer to Saudi. I'm going to say this. It's his last season in the Premier League. Next summer, he'll be 33 years old with just 2 years left in his Liverpool deal. I reckon the Reds would accept a £45 million bid from Al Ittihad. He'll suddenly have a 4-year deal worth £750,000 a week shoved down his throat. Who, in their right mind, possibly rejects that sort of deal at 33? If he actually chose to reject that deal, his wife would probably pick up a pencil and stab her hubby in the eye. Think how many purses she can get with that. Honestly, next summer, we are going to see a spine of Van Dijk, Kante and Benzema. Oh wow! Luton Town, Petty Ruddock Mpanzu. Nobody from Luton Town is getting a call from Saudi. No! They don't even know they exist. Man City, Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva is constantly getting linked to the move away from Manchester every single summer. And I know he's got interest from Saudi now, but I think he stays at the Etihad for another year. Lads, he's been linked with a transfer away from this club every year ever since he joined. You'd swear he hates Manchester so much that every day he's just a whimpering dog crying on his couch and burning Oasis CDs in the fireplace. Well, I mean, you can't hate the city that much because he's preparing for his 7th season at the club. But I do think he goes to Saudi next summer. He'll have turned 30 years of age, achieved everything there is to do in European football. Honestly, he will tick off the Club World Cup on his bucket list at Christmas. And then in 2024, he'll go and take home 700k a week wages at Al Hilal. I mean, how can he possibly say no to that? Man United, Casemiro. Part of me thinks that there will be an absolute huge superstar shock in Manchester United. That someone like Anthony will go and do an Oscar and trade ambition for cash at 25. But I'll play it safe and just go for Casemiro. This seems so ridiculously obvious, but I'll say it anyway. This is his last season at Old Trafford. I reckon he's going to have an under-par year for his ridiculously stupidly good standards. But are we really surprised? He turns 32 in February. The man is a 4-time Champions League winner. He is an absolute utter superstar name. The Saudi chiefs will be drooling from the mouth to get him in their league. He'll get a pay rise to about £600,000 a week. Yeah, I reckon he's very soon gonna be gone. Newcastle, Alisson Maximin. This transfer is depressing. Alisson Maximin has all the talent in the world, and yet his European career is just gonna read Saint Etienne, Hanover, Bastia, Nice, Newcastle, and 1 game from Monaco. I reckon this guy must be so demoralized. To go from being the club's best player by a country mile, an absolute talisman, just an unwanted puppet on Eddie Howe's bench, I reckon he's going to give up on European football, and before the window is out, he'll be a cut price £30 million buy for Al Tawoun. And put it this way, he'll be earning more money than Jack Grealish. Even with the Gucci deal, don't get me wrong, his skill will rip that division to shreds. Lads, he can do more skills, tricks, and mental things with the football than either Ronaldo or Benzema. His footwork is just better. He will be the biggest entertainer in that division. The Saudi League's Ronaldinho, he will be marketed as one of the greatest footballers in the world. America will have Messi. Saudi will have Maxi. That is how good he will look. And I reckon he'll be back. He'll be one of the few players who go to Saudi and actually enhance their reputation. After making all the defenders look like blind donkeys on the internet, it'll be a bit like when Giovanni Dos Santos, after failing at Spurs, took his ridiculous tactical ability to the MLS, became an LA Galaxy superstar, and for the first time since his Barcelona days 10 years earlier, actually had people talking about how good he was. That will be San Maximin in the Saudi desert. And yeah, after 3.5 years of absolutely running that league, we'll probably get a move to Juventus when he's 30 years of age. Nottingham Forest, Serge Aurier. I don't know, doesn't he just seem like the sort of big name washed defender who belongs in that league? Serge Aurier, formerly at PSG and Tottenham, surely he's got the profile to attract interest from that league. Right? Sheffield United, Ryan Brewster. Poor Ryan Brewster. His career depresses me. This guy was supposed to be the next Liverpool superstar. He was a world champion striker with the England under-17s, so I thought it was a shock when Liverpool suddenly cashed in, selling him to Sheffield United for £20 million. But that was 3 years ago. His stats for the Blades are shocking. 5 goals in 63 games, and most of those matches were in the Championship. Aside from that 10-goal loan spell at Swans, he has scored just 4 league goals in his life. He is a 23-year-old striker. Since when did this former Chelsea and Liverpool Academy superstar suddenly turn into the modern day Saido Berahino? It says it all that this guy was coached by both Michael Beale and Steve Cooper for multiple teams, and yet neither Rangers or Nottingham Forest have shown a flicker of an interest. So yeah, maybe in a year, after more Premier League failure, he'll get a move to a newly promoted Saudi team. Maybe. Tottenham, Tanguy Ndombele. Yeah, I reckon this move happens this summer. Tanguy Ndombele is back at Tottenham after a pretty good loan spell at Napoli. I mean, but he's just their version of Bakayoko, an unwanted big money midfield dud who they're unable to sell, and so they just loan him out every year. But I reckon Saudi will answer Daniel Levy's prayers, and someone like Al Wada will rescue him for what? 12 million quid? West Ham Kurt Zouma. Kurt Zouma loves money. Not only is this a man who probably salivates over violent episodes of Itchy and Scratchy, but he managed to shake down West Ham for 120k a week. Give it a year and I reckon Kurt Happy Zouma, yes, his middle name was actually Happy. Give it 12 months, he'll be just weeks off entering his 30s, and after a decade of consistent Premier League football for 4 different teams, he'll probably decide he's had enough and go strike up a centre-back pairing with Kalidou Koulibaly at Al Hilal, whilst drinking money through a straw. Wolves Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto is a broken toy. He is. He hasn't been the same since that horrible injury. He's got 1 goal in 2 years, but he's only actually scored 12 goals in 119 club games. I know he's still only 23, but again, I reckon he'll soon get sick of the fact that injuries destroyed his promise at 21, and yeah, give it a couple of years, he'll probably get rescued by Nuno Espirito Santo. Just you watch. Anyway, that's it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. What player do you think is going to go to the Saudi Pro League? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.